Welcome to Business Talk Sister Gawk. I'm Becca.
And I'm Ruthie.
And today we get the opportunity to talk with Sebastian Biba about a business that he has. And we're super excited to talk to him because I haven't talked to him for a very long time. And we're going to stay till the end because we have a really good story we're going to share with you about Sebastian. And then within that, Sebastian is going to tell us a little bit about his business. So what do you do?
Yes, great to talk with you guys here. And yes, basically I have two campers and I rent it to other people during the summertime.
Nice.
And that's my business, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a story. How did you get involved with that?
It started like this, that my wife and we made a Europe trip ourselves 2 years ago. So we first wanted to rent a camper for this time, but we realized, wow, 4 months, it costs a lot of money. So we just decided, hey, let's just buy one. So after these 4 months, we fell really in love with this type of vacation and flexibility and just camping in Europe. So we decided, hey, we want to keep the van, but we also knew, wow, it costs a lot of money to hold it, to have a space, to invest in it. But during this travel, someone said, hey, you can rent it to other people because of course you don't have vacation all the time yourself. So we said, hey, let's try this in the autumn. So we did, and surprisingly, there were lots of people who wanted our camper for 2 weeks or 1 week or longer. So we did it the next year again, and then it went also really good. There was a lot of people who wanted it. So we decided to buy a second one. And so right now we have 2 cars we rent in the summertime.
Wow. So you have these beautiful campers that you've got, and where are you located?
We're located in Austria, in the western part. It's not Australia, just saying. It's Europe, this small country under Germany. And as you may know, Europe is really small in comparison to the States. So within 1 or 2 hours, we can hit, actually from my location, you can hit like 5 different countries in Europe. So the city is called Innsbruck. And like in half an hour, we're in Italy. In 1 hour, we're in Germany.
Wow.
And then Switzerland and Liechtenstein, and it's just really close, right?
Yeah.
So it's good for tourists if they want the flexibility to see different countries and not book hotels, but also be close to the ocean or some sea or some mountain place. It's really practical for them to buy a van for this time, or to rent a camper. Yes.
Yeah. Does it get complicated for them crossing borders and stuff like that, or not really?
Not at all.
Really?
I mean, Switzerland is the small exception. All the other parts are in the European Union.
Okay.
But it's not. They're not even borders. So you can just cross. No one cares, really.
So then when they come back, then what's your process then? Do you have to clean them and then pass it on to somebody else? What does that look like?
Right. We have a sheet, in the beginning and the end. You fill out, how many miles is on the car. Then you go around. You look at the outside. You mark some
Damages or things like
damages, right? Things, and the same for the inside. And when they come back, right, you check it again. They get back the money, the caution, we say. I don't know if that's the right word.
The deposit.
The deposit, right?
Yeah, damage deposit. Okay.
Right, and then that's it. So and yes, of course, for me, it's cleaning to set up everything for the next campers, and that's basically the work.
So, yeah. So then do you have a lot of time between campers? Like, where do you store it in the meantime when people aren't renting it?
The fortunate thing is, in our city, we have like a permit for the street to park it there.
Okay.
So we don't have a private parking spot, but on the street it's really close to our house. So we can park it there. And yeah, usually I try to have 2 days in between that you have time for filling up the gas,
Okay.
also the camping gas for the kitchen, to clean it, and just if something needs to be repaired, then I have time to do that. So 2 days I like to have, yeah.
Are there any specific rules or anything with the company that you go through that they have to say you have to have this cleaned or you have to have these specific things to use a camper?
Yes, I mean there's some things who must be inside that you actually can call it a camper. So like kitchen things, a fridge, electricity for when you are at the camping space. And but then there are really different type of cars
Okay.
within that website. Through I do that.
Lots of variety. Yeah,
Yes.
tell us about the company that you go through. You said you heard about it with while you were on your 4 months vacation. That is crazy to me. That's such a European thing that doesn't normally happen in the US.
Unless you're a teacher.
Yeah.
Yes. I like to describe it because the most people know Airbnb, and it's
Yeah.
basically the same idea, right?
Okay.
Only with a camper. So it's called Paul Camper,
Okay.
paulcamper.com. I think it's a German company, but I read they try to, also set it up in other countries as well.
Okay.
But for now, it's really in Europe and the German-speaking countries. It's kind of getting famous.
Yeah.
And they bring the clients to me basically.
Oh, nice.
Their websites, they find, oh, I want to start my trip in Innsbruck, so then find my cars, and then they can have my calendar there. They can ask me, hey, is it free, how much costs it, and then I can communicate with them. Of course they get a part of it. They get like 20% of the price. It's their promotion.
Okay.
And there's also a part for insurance, what I have to pay. And then, maybe around 60% of the price I can receive, basically. I can
Okay.
get. Yeah, another thing I recommend, especially for you guys from the States or from Canada who come to Europe for some weeks for Europe trip, like, of course, normally public transportation is really good in Europe, trains and everything. But especially if you want to go to the south of Europe, starting from Italy over Croatia or Greece or these areas, I just recommend you to think of maybe use a camper for this. Like I said before, the the borders are really open. It's really easy, and with this way, you can just get to every ocean, to every spot, to every city really easy. And it's just maybe for people from the States a new way to make a vacation in Europe. Yeah.
So when you started doing this, and how did you think, okay, this is going to be, we like it so much, we're going to do 2 campers. What made you make that decision? Was it like the profitability, or was it just because you wanted to use one while other people were renting your other one, or what made you come to like, yeah, we're going to make this next investment?
Probably both. The one thing is I just love these cars. I love, like, everything is in perfect place. Everything is so well thought through. Every inch of the camper car is just perfectly made for this. And so that's how I kind of started to love it. Also the flexibility for us. If one camper is away a month, we sometimes said, oh man, now we would like to have our own small vacation, for 4 days to some lake. And of course, with 2 cars, we can use more likely one of us for us as well.
Yeah.
And but yeah, also the with the customers, also to talk with them, to have a that they have a good experience. We just it was fun. In the normal life, I'm a social worker, so it's something completely different, and I just really like the some different setting for business, I guess.
Yeah. Are your campers the same? Like, do they look exactly the same, or are they kind of unique?
They're almost the same, like they're the same model, but one is like a meter longer and
Okay.
so a little bit different.
Okay.
But they're both Volkswagen and
Mm.
the similar type of car.
Wow.
So that's also good for us because I have for some equipment I just need one type of this equipment.
Mm.
For example, if someone wants the bikes with them, it fits to both cars. So that's why it's nice to have almost the same one.
Yeah. So what does that look like with maintenance and stuff? So you said you only need the same equipment. Do you use the same tools for them, or do you have other people fix the cars, or do you do that yourself?
Yeah, like small things I try to fix by myself.
Mm.
Of course, if there's something, with the brakes or tires, like normal mechanical things, I
Mhm.
go to a mechanic who does it. But yeah, often it's things. There are also amazing websites where people, like tutorials, how to fix that, how to fix that.
Yeah.
And it's just I really like to do that because it's some practical things,
Mhm.
and usually I can't do it. I try to do it. It takes probably way more time, but it's also fun to have a challenge. So
Uh, what happens if it breaks down when one of your guests is using it?
um, yeah, it has not happened yet,
Oh, that's
thanks
good.
God. But there's the insurance on it.
Okay.
So if that would happen, of course I'm safe because I would, worst case, I would get the money, like what is the worth of the whole car,
Mm.
and they would kind of get a new car.
Okay.
It's like an assistance package
Mm.
where they would get the car to end their holiday, basically.
Okay.
Probably not a camper car, but they would get a car, and yeah, but it has not happened yet. So.
Hmm. Yeah. So how do you deal with like bad experiences? Have you had any bad experiences with it? And if so, like what has been your response to that?
Um, the bad experiences were more the ones, when you tried to get a booking right, and
Mm.
people you were investing time with them, an hour or two talking with them, explaining everything, and then you fix a date, and then you don't get a response, and then you realize, wow, what's going on, and then they say, no, now I have a different one and I don't need it. So
Mm.
that's kind of the bad experience.
Okay.
My response now would be more really to get the first contacts more with mail. Um, that I don't have so much time, what I lose on explaining everything. And if they book it, I'm super happy to talk with them, and
Mm.
because then it's booked, I have a security that
Okay.
they book the car, and
Mm.
if they reschedule it, I get a little bit of the money at least.
Okay.
And then I take more time, kind of the customer service. But in the beginning, I was like, yeah, talking with them 2 hours, and then they're like, yeah, no, I don't take it. So that's maybe something I learned.
Yeah. So how do you communicate with them then? Do you communicate with them through the website, or do they have your personal contact information?
Basically, they make a request, and I can either call them, write them a mail, or in this website, they also have a chat. Do it right there.
Okay.
So I usually do it with their chat, and have some mails already, like set up which mail I can send to them, which information. And and then some of them, they're like, yeah, we would like to talk, or can we fix this? They have some questions. So yeah.
What's like the biggest apprehension or the biggest concern people have when they talk to you about renting your camper normally?
Yeah, some of them, they have no experience with camping, so they're either they're like, yeah, but how is the gas? Are you sure that it's not leaking and we die? And I'm like, yes, I'm really sure. And I will explain you everything, how it works. It's still a pretty small car,
Yeah.
actually a small bus, so it's not a huge thing,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's probably their concern about if they can, manage it. Yeah, how is it with electricity and the water? How can we, what if the water is dirty?
Mm.
And then they freak out, and I'm like, yeah, there you can also, there's a one um, thing where you can get dirty water out of the car, and
Okay.
then you can just refresh it with fresh one. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because I'm thinking of the way our family does camping, which is the most luxury roughing it you've ever seen. We bring we bring air mattresses and stuff. We'll stay in tents, but we bring air mattresses and try to stay at the nicest. What we have here is KOAs. That's what they're called, Campground of America, but with a K instead of a C. They one time we stayed at one that literally had a man-made pond thing that you could ride little paddle boats on and things like that. So yeah,
Oh.
they're usually pretty nice, and we like to think that we're roughing it, but we're really not.
Well, and for those of you guys who are listening, you guys got to understand Sebastian is probably one of the most outdoorsy people I can think of. So I'm sure you have a lot of really good tips for them. Do you have any like things that you do to make it more personalized? Like, here's a list of places to visit, or recipes you can cook in the equipment here, anything like that you guys do?
um, that's probably more the part of my wife, where she puts a little bit of love in the cars, maybe. So yeah, we try to with the equipment to just also have nice things, not only practical things, but they also look nice and are comfortable, like a camping table or the seats to it.
Mm.
Yeah, we have in one camper, I think we have like a recipe book.
Okay.
And we of course also give them some personal tips. Yeah, you need to go to this lake, and make it more personal. Yeah, a little bit, I guess. Yes.
That's awesome. So for somebody starting out with this, what would you recommend? What things to avoid or things to absolutely do?
Yes, I mean, the first thing you need is you need to have a camper, of course. And maybe you have to be not, just willing that other people will use it. If it's your
Yeah.
holy cow, it's like expression we say in German, then don't do it, right? If you're super picky about everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just okay that other people use it, maybe there will be a scratch in one or other thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then, just it's a good training just to let it go. And not everything will stay the same forever.
Yeah.
And and then just start it, have people rent it, and maybe some friends first you trust a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then to think the best from the people who want it, and give them kind of a trust in advance.
Mm.
So that's maybe a tip. Yes.
Trust people not to wreck your stuff.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair.
And if
Okay,
they do, it's not the end of the world.
Right. Yes. If you're there is of course a contract, and you have the right, if there's something broken, you can say, wow, man, that's like $200. So I just keep it from the deposit. You can do that, of course.
Okay.
Or you give them a chance. You say, okay, please buy me a new one, and or repair it and whatever. But yes, you're safe in this kind of not losing something there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to transition into our Sister Gawk portion of the show. And we're going to tell you guys the story about Sebastian. And maybe I think Sebastian probably could tell this a little bit better than I can, but I'm going to start off and maybe you can fill in for us. So we used to work together at a camp. And one of the things that the camp did every day was they just had styrofoam cups for the kids to use. And the more I think about this, the more I'm like, this would so not fly in any COVID-19 post world. But Sebastian is like very against the use of waste because I mean, it like affects the planet, right? And so he had this great marketing pitch for the 1 cup challenge, in which you kept your single styrofoam cup for an entire week at every meal. And oh my word, you should tell us a little bit about how that went for you. Like, did you have to store them and everything, or what ended up happening?
Yeah, I mean, me as a European, we're like, in this case, ecological. We have a different mindset, or there's a lot of green waves around here in Europe. So for me, that was a big shock, that just like 200 people every day, 3 meals a day, they eat from styrofoam cups and everything. So it was a shock for me. And then see all this angry, or no, not angry, but also funny kids just popping the cup in the end. It was for me like, no, you have just got like 3 sips of water out of it. You can't destroy it. So I thought, I had restless nights. And then I started to calculate it, how a whole week, how much waste we would have. And then I came to this crazy number of, I don't know, thousands of cups. And then I said, okay, guys, let's make a challenge. You can use this cup for a whole week. And it went good. I think that maybe the first 2 days. And then some of them, they started just to, pop it right next to me and just kind of tease me with it. And then one person got a little bit sick, and then of course it was like, no, all the bacteria is there and you can't do this. And then it was gone. It was just,
The germ factor of keeping the same cups.
Yes.
I literally remember seeing you guys and you whipped out a stack of cups from your backpack that were all pre-used in a stack, and you had given them to every single one of your campers. And I just remember being like, if someone is sick, they are all getting sick now. So saving the planet, saving their health, I don't know. It's a toss-up.
Builds the immunity. That's what you need.
We should have just invested in plastic cups to run them through the washer.
No, actually, there are plastic cups there. They have washer there, but it was too much work. So that was the sad part of it. But of course, I'm not the person who has to wash like hundreds of cups every day. But
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for joining us and talking and sharing about your experiences renting out your campers. We hope to see the rest of you next week. If you have enjoyed our podcast, please share it with a friend.